Good morning, David Kern here with the CBSAM Debrief. It's Tuesday, the 4th of October. We just had the Labor Day public holiday here in New South Wales, at least. Victoria was spared. South Australia and ACT were the other two states that enjoyed having a wet and cold weekend, long weekend. But anyway, shouldn't be too ungrateful, I guess. No, I enjoyed it. So welcome back, and not much to really be welcomed back to. We've got lots of red numbers here again on the major indices. We've got the Dow touching its lowest close for a year. We've got oil down at its lowest levels for over a year. Really not a very good-looking situation here yet again, and it really does seem like it's testing everyone's patience here. But until we've got some of these major headwinds out of the way, I guess it's going to continue. Let's have a look at the exact numbers here, with the Dow down 258 points, or 2.36%. The S&P 500 off just a little bit more, 2.85. The Nasdaq off 3.29. Toronto 3.2, so big move there for Toronto in the resources sector, and that obviously will there's a little bit of a follow-on, I guess, from some of the resources and energy stocks here that got fairly well pulverised yesterday. Over in Europe, much the same sort of scene, although in percentage terms not as big by and large, although the DAX at 2.28, Madrid 2.23, 26 rather, being the bigger numbers there. Yesterday we ended up closing down 111 points, which we're getting well up towards one of the bigger declines of the year. The Hang Seng down 4.38, and the Nikkei 225 down 1.78%. Let's have a look at what the futures are suggesting. Another 46 points to the downside here. We will be getting very close to our low reached on August 9th after the news that US debt default as a consequence of the Standard & Poor's credit worthiness or credit downgrade, credit rating downgrade. So yeah, looking like we're getting back towards a very key level here. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at, and we can just have a quick look here at the index. I was just looking at it earlier. Yeah, there's that 3,800 level or thereabouts, and we've got to go back to the next level down, which was at around 37, and then of course back down to 33 as next levels to the downside. So that's where we are there. So it is tempting to say right here we are getting towards our lows, but it's possibly only something that the brave would consider. Let's move on now and have a look at the commodity space. You can see in the energy sector there all red numbers, with West Texas at 76.35. We thought that 80 was a reasonably good level to be looking at buying. Our trading range was holding between $80 and $90, but that was 80 to the downside, 90 to the upside, but that's gone by the by now. Natural gas $3.61, so it's continued to come off. In terms of the softs, really only a few rises here. Canola just barely in the green. Corn opening flat. Orange juice again barely up. Wheat 1.68. Lumber 0.98. Flat. Rough rice up 0.25%. Big movers down were coffee, cocoa. Cotton down 0.98, and now at 99.21 there. Soy down, oil down, and wool down as well. Copper down 9.6 cents, down to $3.05 at 0.6, which was 3.05. Gold making a reasonably good move, a reasonably good effort at 16.60, up $37.80. And then silver at $30.47, which is up 38 sense there. Let's just have a look here quickly at the silver chart. I was just looking at this a moment ago. We have on this inner downward trend line here, we have actually broken above that, and we've stayed above it now. On this upward trend line, we're now right on that trend line, but it does strike me that that's a breakout pattern there, that wedge pattern, and we might expect to see some sort of breakout here to the north, with $31 being probably the first level of resistance, then going up to 33 and even beyond, and that perhaps that's pretty good value. But we've been talking a lot about the things that have been sold off aggressively, and then they're looking like a good level to get set on, but then that just gets wiped out. So really, again, it seems like it's a good place to be looking to shorting a lot of stuff here. But if we are at these key levels, it feels like it's a really difficult position to be in terms of trying to decide which way to play this market for the local index, at least. Anyway, we'll move on here and look at the economic calendar. I've already had a little bit of data out this morning from US construction spending, which is up at 1.4. The expectation was negative 0.2, so actually not a bad number there. Manufacturing, ISM manufacturing came in about 1%, a little bit over 1%, 1 point rather above the expectation, at 51.60 or 51.6.6. The ISM prices paid at 56, expecting 54. Of course, we've got our trade numbers due out at 10:30, expecting 2 billion. Previous was 1.8. That should give us a little bit of a excuse me, inkling as to what sort of commodities are starting to taper off in terms of demand in the last for the month of August. Then we've got Japanese cash earnings, labour cash earnings. We don't have an expectation for that, but the previous was negative 0.2. Then at 1:30 we've got the RBA rates decision. That's excuse me. Consensus has us coming in at 4.75. No one's expecting any changes there. Then we're moving on to UK Purchasing Managers Index Construction, Tier 2, same with Euro. PPI for Europe out at 7 o'clock. And then we've got Bernanke talking or testifying before the JEC around midnight tonight, and that rounds out the data for this Tuesday, the 4th of August. Okay, take a quick look here and finish off with the Falcon Trader just to see if there's anything to follow up on. Energy World Corp, I think I talked about as possible level to get set at. Unfortunately, that's turned out to be a disaster and came off around 10% yesterday. So if you were in it, you had your stop loss here, you would have been stopped out, unfortunately. Aluka does seem to be holding reasonably well at these levels. So if you're still long that one, it got in, I think around here where I did around 12.50 or something, then be reasonably happy with that one. Although having said that, I think if it does move back up, I'll be inclined just to get out for even and be back in cash. Kingsgate just seems to be trending downwards here, despite what gold's doing. ResMed, interesting to note that where it's traded in on the Nasdaq, down 6% last night, so probably expect that to come off here. This morning, although it does seem to be running in opposite directions here for some reason. Okay, and I don't really know that there's too much to follow up on here on the Falcon Trader, so I'm going to wind it up there and hope that you can have a good day of trading if you're picking one direction or the other, and yeah, all the best with that, and until next time, get rid of that. I'll leave you to it and